From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings, LALATE.
It's a new morning on Mornings LA and a new look to Mornings LA. From the shores of Santa Monica, California to the streets of Wall Street. The Dow is falling dramatically, down 800 points. We'll go over the latest details across the board as Elon Musk sells an enormous amount of shares. The stock was initially down 1.2 in pre-market trading, but now it's actually turned to the positive. Snap got a major downgrade minutes ago. The social media company taking a major hit, according to that downgrade from Jefferies. One analyst saying the Federal Reserve needs to stop with those interest rate spikes. But what about the retail sales numbers? Wow, we'll go over those retail sales numbers that came in minutes ago. Major miss for the month of November. You knew it, we saw it coming. It was worse than expected. Not only -3 as estimated, it was -6 in the latest number released minutes ago. Plus, we have the jobless claims number. Not actually that bad at 211,000, actually improved. New jobless claims improving in the unemployment number released this morning. But the continuing jobless claims number actually assuring. Didn't get any worse, stayed the same. This is how the market opened, no less. This is how the market looked about an hour ago. 300 points, 500 points, 600 points. Right now, at the time of this broadcast from the shores of Santa Monica, California, you see the timestamp in the corner. It's just a little bit before 10 a.m. The Dow is down 800 points. This is what we expected. The reaction to the news of Jay Powell yesterday, and the market's always down the next day. But even worse, because the markets are really unhappy with those retail sales numbers released minutes ago. We'll go over all that. We'll go over the labor. We'll go over your stimulus checks, massive stimulus checks, coming to millions of Americans, $300,000 of stimulus checks in today's recording. 18 months of stimulus checks, 5 stimulus checks per month. We have a lot to go over in today's brand new look to Mornings LA. A lot of breaking news, and this is where we were an hour ago. Right now, we are down 800 points. We're not done there yet. From the shores of Santa Monica, California, to the streets of Wall Street, a lot of breaking news, all happening right here, right now, on a big, bold, beautiful Mornings of Mornings LA. The toast is toast and the butter is buttering, and the markets are down 800 points. Hey, good morning, everybody. The markets are really in a big down spin today, and it's a very big, dramatic week. We knew this was going to happen. We already knew that every time that Jay Powell speaks, the markets go up that day, and the next day they go down. So we expected a down day. We're down 300 points when the markets open. The graphic on the screen right there shows the markets initially down 666 points, but right now we're down 800 points, because they're not particularly happy with this number that were released minutes ago. This is what's causing the double whammy for the markets, this number. This is why the markets are down 800 points right now. It's the retail sales numbers, how much the retailers made in the month of November. Wall Street, the street was looking at a downward month of negative 0.3%. That was the estimate. It came in weaker than expected, down 0.6% for the month of November. That is causing the markets to go from this graphic, which was about an hour ago, to where it is right now, nearly down 800 points, and we're just a few hours into the trading day. We're going to go over those incredible stimulus checks, 18 months of stimulus checks, $3,000 of stimulus checks per month, fast stimulus. They heat up today's broadcast. But there's a lot of other breaking news we're going to go over, and it all starts right now. First, let's jump into this retail sales number. This is the story that is causing the markets a lot of jitters right now. The markets, you knew and we all knew, were going to go down the day after Jay Powell speaks. They always do. They go up the day he announces the comments, and the day after, they're always down 200, 300 points. That 800 points, that's a whole different situation. The market opened down initially 300 points. The graphic on here was made about an hour ago. It went to down 666 points. Right now, we're down almost 800 points. I'll have the update for you throughout this broadcast. Stay with me all of this incredible broadcast. What's at issue is not only that Jay Powell said yesterday he's going to do another 50 basis point for the interest rate spike for December, but the retail sales numbers. These retail sales numbers should not be a surprise to you or I, because I had featured that analysis for Goldman Sachs earlier this week. Goldman Sachs earlier this week already said this news for you. They predicted it before it became a reality. They said in the month of October, numbers were okay for the retail sales. October, of course, is Halloween. But they said November was horrible. They said Black Friday was absolutely horrible for the retail sales. They did not deliver good numbers that month at all. And they said December is going to be even weaker. Then last Friday, we had Lululemon and those corporate earnings and guidance for the rest of this year saying, you know what, we're having big problems. We're having big problems in the macroeconomics. We're going to have problems getting people into the stores in December. And then today, the market's seen exactly what Goldman had already told you was going to happen and what we had covered on this channel. A very, very weak market. This is a double whammy for the market because they were already reacting to the news of Jay Powell. And here was their reaction to the news. Double Line Capital's CEO Jeffrey Gundlach, in his comments this morning, says, I think they should not do any more interest rate spikes after today. I think they've had some progress on inflation, and I think they should stop. What, of course, is he referring to? He's referring to Jay Powell. Jay Powell and the Federal Reserve met yesterday and said another 50 basis point increase is coming to the U.S. economy from the Federal Reserve. They also said they're going to continue these spikes until we get inflation 2%. Sound familiar? Of course it does. That's what Jay Powell said for over a year. He also said that the Fed funds rate could go to 1.5%. I'm going to go back to that 1.5% in just a second in this recording because that's a very, very fundamental issue that we're dealing with right now. One of the stories that came out minutes ago was this one as well. Unemployment. It's Thursday morning. You know it comes every Thursday morning. And let's look at this number. Two numbers every Thursday morning. Continuing unemployment claims and new jobless claims. I got to tell you, both of these numbers are actually really good. They're really good, but also really bad news. I'll tell you what's the mixture of the bag. The continuing jobless claims is people who have been unemployed for more than a week. And that number last week was 1.67. Well, in fact, when I say last week, the release number last week, it's a delayed number. Guess where it is today? You see it on the graphic. It's 1.67. I can see it outlined. You don't have to tell me. So it did not change. That's good. That's good. That means the long-term unemployment number did not get worse. That is good news. And then look at those new jobless claims number. 211,000? That's a really good number. I mean, we have not seen a number that low on this channel for a few weeks. Remember, we had gone to 230,000. We had gone to 240,000. We were worried we would go back up to 260, which we did over the summer. Last week, we were at 230. So we were fully expecting that today would be about a 230. And the fact that it came in at 211, let's look and see where unemployment has gone over this year. I mean, it's really quite surprising that it did not go back to the 260. It came in at 211. So really good news there. And as always the case with Jay Powell, good news for us is bad news for him. Let's go over why. Because Jay Powell's going to look at those unemployment numbers and say, hey, I can make some more people unemployed. Yeah, he actually says that. The policy of the Federal Reserve has been for over a year to solve inflation, bring inflation down by making the unemployment number higher. Well, the unemployment number went lower, so Jay Powell's going to stay his course. He's going to raise those interest rate spikes is where he is. 50 basis point was announced yesterday. 50 basis point will be at the next FOMC meeting. So do I agree with the analysis from Gundlach that came in minutes ago that the Federal Reserve should stop because eventually we will get inflation down? No, I don't. Because later in this, I'm going to show you the three component parts of the inflationary report released early this week, the CPI. The Federal Reserve has nothing to impact them with. They are rent, the landlords, the grocery stores, and the airlines. And if they can't get those inflationary elements down, then raising rates won't solve it. So taking a foot off the pedal won't solve the other parts of inflation that are coming down. The latest CPI report released showed that consumer goods like your cell phones, your computer, your television set, your appliances, they are coming down. The inflation is coming down a lot. But the other items, those three items which are components parts of the inflation report in big numbers, are not coming down. So what do you do? What does Jay Powell do? What does Joe Biden do? I'll explain it to you later in this recording. But let's go back into the markets right now and let's look at, of course, that major story that started today. Elon Musk reportedly had told Americans in a tweet earlier this year he was done selling Tesla shares. Well, apparently he wasn't, because this week he sold some more. He sold a lot. And we learned today that he sold how much? $3.6 billion of shares between Monday and Tuesday this week, after he said he was done selling. The stock is down 55% year to date, so he sold at the low. And the stock was down initially 1.2% on the news, but right now, the stock is up. And I'll show you in a second that of all the major stocks today, this is one of the few that is up. Of course, it's down 55% year to date, so do not celebrate this number at all. Warner Brothers Discovery scratched projects that were valued at $1 billion to $3.5 billion. And that stock is taking a pivot based upon that news as well. Lennar, which is a home builder, is down 2.6% in pre-market trading based upon the impact of those mortgage rates on the housing industry. And Goldman Sachs downgraded Western Digital from neutral to downgrade, not good. That stock is down today, as is AT&T, which was also downgraded from overweight to equal weight by Morgan Stanley. And of course, Jefferies has downgraded Snap, as you saw in that report. Now, we have some other economic data that came in minutes ago, and this data is not good either. This economic data concerns manufacturing. If a U.S. economy is growing, the manufacturing numbers are positive. If it's a negative number, it means there's less manufacturing. So the number released minutes ago, not good. And that number was released by the Philadelphia Manufacturing Index. It posted a negative 13.8. That is the fourth consecutive negative number for this manufacturing report, and the sixth in 7 months. 6 negative manufacturing report in 7 months shows that manufacturing is really slowing dramatically in this U.S. economy. Why were the numbers what they showed today? And why were the retail sales so weak in this number? Let's jump back in that retail sales number. I'm going to show you the breakdown of where retail sales is getting hurt right now and why it's the case as well. You saw that retail sales number has declined 0.6%, more than even Wall Street expected. But where was the big drop? Furniture and home furnishings stores reported a decrease of 2.6%. Building materials, garden centers down 2.5%. Motor vehicle parts down 2.3%. Even when you exclude gas, they're still down. Online sales down 1%. Beverages down 1%. Capital Economics' Andrew Hunter reacted to the news today. He says, with weak global growth and a strong dollar compounding, we suspect this weakness is a sign of things to come. Now, here is another number. And when I look at this number, my eyes just sort of jumps out. You're ready to, put down the hot coffee. Put down the hot coffee, because you're going to get scalded by this story. The Empire State Manufacturing Survey, which measures manufacturing in New York, that's why it's called Empire, posted a negative 11.2. Wall Street was looking for a negative 0.5. Wow, that is a major drop. Philadelphia Fed survey rose 6%, but it's a negative 13.8 against a negative 12 predicted. With exports now suffering from the strong dollar, a global recession looming, we expect further weakness in manufacturing lies in the store. Manufacturing is really down, folks. Really, really down. And so with that, let's jump right into the markets right now. Let's take a look and see what the markets are doing right now at the time of this broadcast. So when I went on air, we were about 800 points down. Let me refresh the screen right now and tell you where we are right now. So we are currently down, actually worse. Lord. We started the day down 300 points. Then I went on air to tape afternoons, and we were down 600 points. You saw this graph. You see the ticker on my screen, 600 points. That's when I went on air with you. I said we're going 800. Now we're down 845. We're getting worse by the hour. The NASDAQ is down 338. What is the percentages on these two numbers? Dow is down to 2.49%. NASDAQ is down 3.01%. And the headline story today? Recession. Told you. I mean, I told you in spring of this year, in February of this year, the U.S. economy would start a recession in January 2023. It's the headline story today that the U.S. economy is going into recession because of Jay Powell. And that is the lead story today. So let's go over the other breaking news stories we're working on right now. One of them is Netflix. It's a fascinating story. Wells Fargo has announced, first of all, American Express as a top pick for 2023. This came in just 8 minutes ago. They believe, Wells Fargo, in a report to investors minutes ago, that American Express is a great stock to own. You know why. Massive credit card debt. American Express, Bank of America, they're doing really great on these credit card debt levels. We believe the affluent will hold up best, and their global network is still underappreciated, says Wells Fargo, referring to American Express. They have a price target they've raised their price target from 170 to 180, but the stock is nearly down 9% year to date. That suggests the stock could go up 16%. Disney is now on path to have its worst year for the markets since 1974. Here's more talk of recession. Who, me? No, I've talked enough about recession. I've been talking about it since February. Everyone thought I was on the island of one, that crazy kid in California. Let's get talking about recession. Well, now they're all talking about recession. And I said it's coming in January. Well, guess what? January's about 2 weeks away. I got it right, and I got the date right as well. Here's what Hugh Roberts, head of analytics at Quant Insight, says. The Fed all year has been very consistent. They have fought to inflation, they've gotten it down, and they're going to tighten financial conditions to do so. Increasingly, the 2023 main story will be about the real economy. In other words, how hard a recession are we going to feel? And can the Fed engineer soft landing, or will we get a full-blown, ugly, hard recession? Josh Brown, who's a brilliant guy, said minutes ago, get ready for a recession. Get ready for a hard recession. 2 years. Absolutely. That's my prediction. 2-year recession. Very hard. It's not going to be a soft recession. This is not going to be like the 2000 recession with savings and loan where only banking people are exposed. It's not going to be the 2008 recession when it was just the individuals in the tech industry, in the tech bubble, exposed. No. Minutes ago, not minutes ago, an hour ago, Snap was downgraded by Jefferies as I led with this recording. That stock is down 8% in trading right now. Another story that happened just in the last hour, and it's featured today on Afternoons LA. Do not watch that show. It gets a brand new look as well. This is the brand new look coming into LA. Netflix is down 7%. Now, this is a fascinating story. When advertisers buy ad space, they usually pay based upon what the actual views are. So if 20 people view, then they pay for 20 views. Not in the case of Netflix, reportedly, because Netflix reportedly sold ad space based upon representations to the advertisers of how many views those advertisers would get. And they missed. And so because Netflix had missed, they miss on their viewership targets, they have now agreed to return money to advertisers. I don't think I've ever heard a story like this. But that's a story no less than 2 hours ago. The stock is down 7%. That's a story out of Digitate report minutes ago. It has not been denied nor confirmed by Netflix. Wow. And what a day it really is. Just jump in the live chat right now and let's see what some of you are saying, because this is a live chat. And it's important to look and see what's going on. That is a lot of down. Says one viewer. And there's Augustine. Hey, Augustine, how are you? And there's Shirley Parker. And there is Dragon. And there is Joe Cameron. How are you? Thank you for joining me on this big, bold, beautiful Mornings of Mornings LA. Let's go back into the breaking news that we're dealing with right now. And the breaking news is that you really need to get these stimulus checks. 50,000 less, go get them as well. And if you're on benefits, go get them as well. These incredible stimulus checks have been law since the month of March. Go get these big, bold, beautiful checks. And what do? You go to the video, become a member, then go in that newsletter and get those incredible checks. Then came more checks from Congress, checks E through K, bringing us to hundreds of checks. And those incredible checks, E through K, are in the LA newsletter. There's no reason to reach out to me, as one viewer said. I've reached out to LA. I have nothing else to tell you. Everything is in the video. I have nothing else to say except what's in the video. I bring everything I know to the videos. Guess what happens after that? L&M, N&O, P&Q are added to the membership newsletter, and those are absolutely incredible. And we're going to go over all those incredible checks in this recording. If you listen really carefully, everything that's taught is in the recordings. I have nothing else to know to say, because I say everything I say. I say everything I know in the recordings across the board. The incredible LALATE alerts are sent via YouTube to you Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Go in that alert, past the guy with the view post. There it is. Pass the guy at the surfboard to where it says view post. Click the link and go right and apply at that incredible newsletter. And go right down and get those incredible checks, A, B, and C. And guess what? We're going to go with those incredible checks starting right now. Check A is a $6,500 to $12,000 stimulus check in every U.S. state. It is beautiful. It is one of the first 3 checks done by Joseph Biden. Let's look at that check A right now. $6,500 to $12,000. How do I get that check? Step 1, become a member. Step 2, get that newsletter, which is delivered from me to you Monday through Friday, 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. On the right, lower right, is a timestamp. Look at that timestamp right now. That shows you what the difference is of my time zone to your time zone. That's 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Go down that membership newsletter, check A, click the link, and go right in and get it. It's $12,000 stimulus check, and we're not done there yet. You're going to go get check B, $15,000 to $80,000 stimulus check. It's huge. And we're not done there yet. You're going to go get check C, which is for rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, and more. And let's understand that these checks together are giving viewers big sums of money. How much? These massive stimulus checks are giving viewers $300,000 of stimulus checks, 18 months of stimulus checks on average, 5 stimulus checks per month, and about $3,000 of stimulus checks per month. You pounce and get these incredible sums of money. And what have viewers gotten for these incredible checks, and what can you get as well? Well, since 2020, viewers have gotten these types of numbers for rent. Join this channel, become a member, and get check C. Look at those incredible numbers. And then, how about utilities? Yes, $50,000 of utilities. Combinations of checks, huge. Because Mark was at $32,000 of stimulus checks. He went to $100,000. He went to $50,000. Then he went to $100,000. And then he went to $166,000. These incredible stimulus checks have been lost since the month of March. And those are the first 3 checks, A, B, and C. We're not done there yet because those are the first 3 checks. Well, along came Congress, and they established more checks, and those are the beautiful checks E through K. Let's look at the continuation of these federal stimulus checks right now. They're federal because they're from the federal government, and what's important to remember is the following. Number 1, these are big checks. 18 months of stimulus checks on average, 5 stimulus checks per month on average, $3,000 a month, and they're for the federal government, FSC. It has nothing to do with your state. It has to come, and it comes from the federal government, so it doesn't matter where you live. Largest check, $100,000. Smallest check, $8,000. And let's look at some more of those stimulus checks right now. Check E is a $7,500 stimulus check. Where do you get check E? In the membership newsletter, down at check E. F, $4,000 stimulus check. Then we go to G, a beautiful 30% off. H, a $2,000 stimulus check. I, a beautiful $8,000 stimulus check. J, an $8,000 stimulus check. K, a $14,000 stimulus check. And we continue thereafter. L, a $100,000. M, $4,000 stimulus check. N, brand new free computer, tablet, and also laptop and free internet. Wow, would you like a few brand new computer free for the holidays? Go get Stimulus N. It's down the membership newsletter. Become a member. Go down the membership newsletter, Stimulus N, and go get it. And then O, 0 down payment, 0 closing costs for a brand new mortgage. And then P and Q. P is 3% down, and Q is $8,000. So let's recap. 1, what are these incredible stimulus checks? These are federal stimulus checks for the federal government. When were they passed? In March. Viewers have been getting them since March. How much can I get? Some viewers are getting nearly $200,000, $250,000. For everyone, yes, they're from the federal government. Largest check, $100,000. Smallest check, $8,000. Fastest routing time, 2 days. What are the checks for? Rent, utilities, mortgage assistance, the appliances, the computer, the home repairs, the car. A lot of beautiful, wonderful stimulus checks. This is how it's done. Only 2 qualifiers. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get them. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get them. That's it, go get them. Finally, how do I get them? Step 1, go into this video, become a member. Step 2, Open that membership newsletter. And where is that membership newsletter? Look in that. There we go. Look at that time stamp in the corner of the video. How many hours different is that from you? Well, remember that, because that's the difference of time zone. This is my time in the corner of the screen, 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm Pacific Standard Time. So where are you in relation to that? If you're the Midwest, like Missouri, Illinois, you're perhaps 12 noon right now. That's your time zone. You're 2 hours later than me. And if you're East Coast Standard Time, then you're 3 hours later than me. You'll get that alert exactly on the money. Click the alert, it sends you right into the newsletter, and start applying for those incredible checks. And with that, let's go back into the breaking news we're dealing with right today. The story we're dealing with right today is really this problem with inflation. And the problem with inflation that we're trying to get our hands around is, what does J-Powell do? What does J-Powell not do? What does Wall Street say? And what does Wall Street not say? And today we have something really fascinating that I got to tell you, I've never seen anything quite like it. The bond market is down. The bond market is down today, as J-Powell announced an interest rate spike yesterday. Weird? Absolutely weird. Now, it gets even stranger. The Fed funds rate announced by J-Powell yesterday is going to go to 1.5% early next year. The Fed funds rate right now, what is J-Powell looking at versus what is the bond market looking at? The Fed funds rate right now is a certain percentage point. The bond market should line up accordingly. It isn't. It hasn't. And it's not on track to line up at all. So, why are the bond traders doing this? Why are the bond traders trading the bond market down when J-Powell says the rates are going up? And why are the bond rates not lining up with the Fed funds rate? Three possibilities. Bond traders are ignoring J-Powell. They hear him, but they're ignoring him. Number two, they believe that they hear J-Powell, but they do not believe him. They think that if J-Powell is going to stop with these interest rate spikes sometime sooner. Or number three, they don't think that makes sense to have rates at that level. What is my analysis situation? I don't know. And all morning long, people have been trying to analyze the situation, and they don't know it either. It's all across broadcast news. Why are the bond traders rates so much lower than the Fed funds rate? And why are they not on track to where J-Powell's taking our rates at all? Makes no sense. And you know exactly where I'm heading with this. Bonds down, stocks are up, right? Nope. Today, bonds are down, stocks are down. And it was that day yesterday. Part of the problem is that no one can assess what really is going on with those bond traders and why they're trading these things down. And with that, in the big second half, I'll go over why these improved jobless claims numbers are more ammunition for J-Powell to raise rates. And I'll go over, more importantly, why, when you look at those inflation data points from Monday in that CPI, why is J-Powell raising rates if certain parts of the economy don't respond to rates? And they're driving the inflation. It's coming up in a big brand new look to Mornings LA. See you back in 60 seconds as the news continues.
If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE Live Daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE.
And the excitement continues on a big, bold, beautiful mornings of Mornings LA, from the shores of Santa Monica to the streets of Wall Street. In the second half, we're going to continue why the markets have unraveled so quickly this morning and if the bleeding is over. Plus, we'll analyze where inflation is in this economy and does Jay Powell have the ammunition to get those fixed. It's a big new look. It's a brand new day as Mornings LA continues on air. How are you? Thank you for joining me as the toast is toast and the butter is butter and the coffee is brewing. The latest CPI report released Monday gave us the latest indication of where inflation's U.S. economy is. The headline number, 7.1% up. Inflation year to date. But when you jump into the component parts, were any of them down? Yes, consumer goods like the appliances were cheaper. The television sets cheaper. The computers were cheaper. Not a lot, but cheaper. The items not cheaper, the groceries. The items not cheaper, the rent. The items not cheaper, the airline fares. And in fact, they were up a lot. Some of them are up 30% year to date. So here's the problem. They're up every month. They're still going up. And what Jay Powell's doing is raising interest rates. Does it get those three major components, rent, groceries, and airline fares down? No. Airlines are charging higher rates because they can, because they want to. The landlords, who are private individuals who own apartment buildings, are charging more in rent because they can, because they want to. And the food growers and the grocery stores are charging more for the food because they can, because they want to. So Jay Powell raising rates doesn't affect any of those three segments of the inflationary report. And guess what? They are a major segment of the inflationary report. 30, 40, 50%, because they are a lot alone. And those numbers were really up. The numbers for the rent was up 7.1% year to date. The airlines were up 33% year to date, and some of the groceries were up still 39% year to date. So if Jay Powell has no ammunition, no tools to get those inflationary items down, what happens next? Here's the problem. If all we do is rely upon Jay Powell to raise rates to get rent, airlines, and groceries down, and raising rates doesn't get those things down because it's not a tool that works, then what happens? You get higher interest rates and you also get higher items. So where's the solution? Congress. It doesn't really make sense to me why Congress has not done this. Let's take it back. First, the airlines are regulated by the federal government. The airlines are gouging Americans. The airlines initially rose rates because the jet fuel prices went up because Putin invaded Ukraine many months ago. Those rates are now those jet fuel prices are now the lowest of the entire year. International Brent crude, which was $110 then, is now $80. It's dropping every single day. It's the cheapest it's been in over a year and a half. So that's not causing the flight to be more expensive. What about the salaries? Not that much of a salary inflation for those pilots or those staffers on the plane. So the costs for the airlines are not up. So what are they doing? They're just price gouging. They're just price gouging. They see a plane that has 200 seats in it, and they see 199 seats sold. So they're selling that last seat for a lot of money. The demand is there. Now, JetBlue says to us that the demand has pulled off since the summer. That's promising, but we don't know about how much it's pulled off. And the fact that it was so robust, even pulling it back a little bit, is still not a lot. Those airlines met with Mark Meadows during the Trump administration, asked for massive stimulus checks from the federal government, hundreds of millions of dollars, because they were in need. Why has Congress not brought back the airline executives, all of them, back in and asked them, why are your airline fares so expensive? They went up because your costs went up when gasoline went up, but the gasoline's cheap now. They went up when salary and issues like that were going up, but they're not going up anymore. Salaries have actually not gone up year to date for those substantially in the airline industry. So the higher rates that the airlines are charging for the seats on the planes are not justified based upon their cost. They're just charging it because they can get it. Next industry. The next industry is the apartment owners. Does Congress have any leverage with the apartment owners? No, none at all. Most apartment owners are private individuals. They're not publicly traded individuals. They can do what they want. They want to charge 30% more in rent than last year, they can do it. And if you want to pay it, then you'll pay it. There's nothing Congress can do with them. The last group is the groceries. Absolutely. A lot of these groceries are unionized. And a lot of these groceries are and I'm not going to name names, but are the subject of merger agreements and subject of major regulatory review at the moment. What are they doing? Well, they rose those prices of the groceries, like the milk and the eggs and the butter and the fruits and the vegetables. The head of lettuce is up 30% year to date. I mean, it's just crazy. They rose those prices early this year when the shipping costs are higher. The shipping costs are back down to normal. When the gasoline prices are high, gasoline prices are lower than they were even last year. They rose them based upon those elements. Those costs are gone. So what are they doing? They're price gouging. They're price gouging. The head of lettuce for $3 a head of lettuce, they're just charging it because they want to. Now, it may not be inherently the market themselves, and also maybe the growers, which is slightly before them. And remember, those growers got federal stimulus from us back in the day as well. The farmers got their stimulus. So this is all in a universe of slight regulatory environment in which they need to be questioned about this. And if you don't, then inflation stays with us for a while. Let's jump back in the breaking news of what we're dealing with right now, and let's see if the market is still down as significantly as it was before. The market started the day down 300 points. It went down to 600 points. Get ready for this, folks. I went with you live with the market down almost 800 points. I pressed record. We are down 800 points. At the commercial break in this recording, we're down 850 points. We're now down 917 points in less than a 40-minute video. It shows the magnitude of the drop today. Again, the market opened 300 points down. Then it was down 600 points. I prepared to go on air. Why you see in the ticker right here, this was made right before I went on air. 656 points down the Dow Jones. I went on air, 800 points. Commercial break, halfway through the video, 850, now 915 points down. The Dow, that's 2.7%. The NASDAQ down 3.31%, 368 points today. It's just really big news. So which of the stocks making the biggest falls right now? Netflix, which we talked about right before the commercial break. The stock is now down 9% on news that they have to reportedly refund money to advertisers. Novavax is down 27% after its proposed sale of stock, and then Warner Brothers Disney is down 7% today after it's going to absorb some restructuring costs of $1 billion to get the company back on track. Here's some more breaking news just in the last 15 minutes. About 5 stocks traded lower on Thursday for every advancer. So 5 stocks are down for every 1 stock up. That's not a good situation. And it continues to unravel across the board. And what's at issue is that and to recap why the markets are reacting as they are is a combination of factors. One, we all knew that the day after Jay Powell speaks, the markets are always down. Made that recording for you all this week. And we expected the markets to be around 200, 300 points. But then came in that retail sales number. And that retail sales number is everything. It's everything. It says the consumer's not buying. And the consumer's not buying in the month of December, which is the month in which they got to buy, because that is the month in which the retailers are dependent upon the earnings. They don't get those retails in November, then guess what? They're not going to get them in December. Now the analysts all are saying the same thing you and I are saying, which is December is going to be a horrible month for retailers because November was weaker than October. Can you imagine that Black Friday was weaker than Halloween? December's weak. If December's weak, then retailers may lay off people come the new year, may close stores, may potentially go under. And let's look back at this graphic. This was the graphic. Boy, folks, I mean, goodness gracious. This was the graphic about 2 hours ago, made by me before I went on air. You see the ticker under me. We were down 656. We're now down 900 plus points. I mean, we still got a few more minutes left in this video. It is a falling falling number very, very dramatically. Let's go back to those comments by Jeffrey Gunrance. He says that I think the Federal Reserve should stop spiking those rates right now, and that is really what's at issue, and that's what's causing the big problems. Do I agree? No. Jay Powell and what he is doing at the Federal Reserve is trying to get inflation down. You do not stop until inflation's down. It's not down. Now, I understand Jay Powell's tools don't work with rent, don't work with groceries, don't work with airlines, but they work with these other things, like the refrigerators and the cell phones, and it's working. But he needs to stay course, and I don't think he should have gone to 50 basis point. I think he should stay 75 basis point. The notion that comment that analyst is basically saying is take your foot off the brakes, take your foot off the pedal, and that eventually will come down inflation. It's wrong in two regards. First, the Federal Reserve's policy is move quickly, not move slowly. So you don't hope to have it float down. You hope to have it hit really fast. So in many regards, maybe the step down from 75 to 50 was ill-advised. It's not what I would have done. I would stay at 75. Number two, the comment by that analyst is not appropriate, I also believe, because if you believe that inflation's going to come down, the question is when. Jay Powell and his tools admits it's going to take 2 more years. It's going to take to 2024 for his tools to get inflation down. So when does this analyst believe inflation is going to come down? Enough. It's coming down already. I hate that verb. Why do I hate that verb? Because it's a verb that has no definitive spot. It's like you live close to me. How close? 20 miles away. You live close to me. How far? 5 hours away. You're close. What? Inflation's coming down. Half a percentage point. It needs to come down. It needs to come down. Now, ultimately, the problem at issue is perhaps the administration. The problem at issue is perhaps the Congress. I don't know what they're doing. They should be pulling these people in that they have regulatory authority over and say, you're price gouging. You're price gouging and you're causing inflation. President's reaction to the inflationary report on Monday: we're doing great. We're better than most other countries. Everyone's going to recession, folks. Everyone's going to recession. To say that my recession is better than your recession, hey, we're having a better recession out in America than your recession. That's ridiculous. To say our inflation is better than your inflation, well, that's also ridiculous. You solve it. You don't say ours is not as bad as everyone else's. You solve it. They're elected to do certain things, and this is where they really need to do it. Get these incredible stimulus checks, because this is where the money is. 2-year recession. In February this year, I said we're going to a 2-year recession. The lead story today: recession looms. They're no longer guessing or using other words than recession. They're no longer using things like, downward or weakening. They're using the word recession. Number 2, hard recession, soft recession. It's going to be a hard recession, of course. It's going to be a very dark, dismal time financially. 2 years. Josh Brown said, get ready. I said, get ready for a 2-year recession. Hard since February this year. And that is starting less than 30 days away. Get all those incredible stimulus checks. Everything you need to know about stimulus checks are in these videos. There's nothing else I have else to tell you. That's why I have a newsletter. It's important to understand that these stimulus checks are huge. 18 months of stimulus checks, $3,000 of stimulus checks per month, 5 stimulus checks per month. Fast payout, 48 hours across the board for some of these incredible stimulus checks. Go get them right now. The first 3 checks passed by Joseph Biden, A, B, and C. Don't sit around and ask questions like, what about? Whatever happened to? Deal with the situation right now and get these incredible stimulus checks. Finally, a thank you to the viewership, you. 3 nights ago on LA Late Night, I asked viewers, what would you like? Would you like an expansion of the financial topics on this channel? And how would you like it expanded? They said yes, and they said keep it in the same videos. Expand the topics of the coverage in every video and get it all in there and make it more dense and more informational and more educational. As Lynn Glenn brilliantly put it, I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn a lot. And if people don't want to learn, they need to earn. She said a version of that. She said, I'm here to learn. And that's what this channel is all about. This is what this community is all about. Learning. It's not about staying by a mailbox and telling me, is there something in there? It's about learning. And the more I can teach you, the more you get better. And with that, join me next on the 11 o'clock edition of Holidays LA, which may be a little bit later. And then today at 3 o'clock, get ready. The brand new Afternoons LA, a brand new look to Afternoons LA. It's coming up today at 3 o'clock. Thank you to the wonderful viewers who were in that live show 2 nights ago. They were Shirley Parker and Diane and Ann and Crayola and Dragon and Mo Dog and Lynn Glenn and all of you that were in that live chat that gave such incredible inspiration, so much incredible thought and insight into where we are and where we're heading. We are here to learn. And if we're not here to learn, then we are here to burn. No, that's something other than that. We are here to learn. And for the shores of Santa Monica, California, we are here not to burn the bacon. Stay informed, stay focused. Where is my bacon, my digital bacon? There it is. Don't burn the bacon. The toast is toasting, the butter is butter, and the coffee is brewing. Thank you for joining me on the new look to Mornings LA. Join me for the new look on Afternoons LA in just a few hours as well. Stay informed, stay focused. Have a beautiful day, everybody. And as always, stay with LA for more.